Yeah, our experience was probably we transferred from another school in the town, which is a kind of a huge decision. It's when we enrolled our children in their original school, that's where they're going to be. There was no thought that they'd go anywhere else. And I'm a big believer that children should stay in the one school environment. So we had a few years there and a lot of trouble with our eldest child. He just didn't seem to fit. Wasn't anything in particular, just really, it was like that square peg in the round hole. He just couldn't fit into the environment and was struggling with friends. The work started to drop off, his performance in school. He's having problems with the teachers, just conflict after conflict with the teachers, and it just came to a head, and that's it. We've got to do something about this. And I'd heard a little bit about Victory and sort of heard various people talking about it. I thought, I must find out more about this school. It just seems to have something that the other schools don't have. But coming from that non-church background, I was a little hesitant to actually make first contact with the school. Because I'd pinned my hopes, I think, so much on what this school could offer that I was very worried that we would be knocked back as being, as a non-church family. And I made the initial phone call and got the reception girls on the phone, who were incredibly lovely and warm, and got off the phone and I thought, that was a good experience, and made the appointment to come up and see Anne-Marie, and she's just such a warm and welcoming lady. You're welcome from the moment you walk through the admin door. And we got the kids in for a transition day. And there'd been a little bit of angst. We told the children we were looking at transferring them to another school, and the eldest didn't cope with that very well at all. There was lots of tears and just that uncertainty, I suppose, of what it might offer. And they came up for their transition day, and the teachers came to get them and take them down to their classroom. And I remember one of the other students in Jackson's grade level came up and introduced himself and shook his hand and said, "Hello, I'm Jacob, welcome to Victory." That's it, I'm in floods of tears, and Jackson trots off with the child, and it was just to have a child come up and do that's children at other schools aren't that sort of forward in welcoming, and that was sort of like that moment where you knew everything was going to be okay. It's positive. And off they trotted, and I went home and worried all day about how they might go on their transition day, and they came out at the end of the day and were so excited, and that was it. This is where they wanted to be. They didn't want to go back to their old school. And we had them in. That was the Thursday, the transition day, and they started here on the Monday, and we haven't looked back since. They've just slotted in so incredibly well. Jackson's confidence has just doubled since he's been here. He now fits. He's found his little position in this environment, and it's that individual approach. They value the child's individual traits and personality. Yeah, so instead of trying to mould and conform the child to that standard, they accept the child for their differences here and work with that and bring out the best in the students. So he's developed sort of great relationships with his teachers and with his peers and fitted in quite well. And the youngest just dropped in without a beat. Mitchell's just taken off and gone running with it. So he was a more confident child anyway. But he just really hasn't looked back since we started here. It's funny. He's just grown. He got up at chapel, actually, the first chapel service we had after we started, and Jackson's normally, he won't be the centre of attention, contrary to what he's like now in the playground, but he's normally one for hanging back. I go to chapel and they're bringing a couple of the kids up on stage to give a reading, and I notice Jackson in the queue, and I'm thinking, what's he doing over there? And he gets up on the stage and he reads out this little piece that he had, confident as all get out, up there with the microphone, and comes off the stage and said, "Mate, you didn't tell me you were going to get up and do that." "Oh, well, I asked if I could." And this is a kid who just would never have done this 6 months ago. So, you've got to attribute a lot of that to the teachers, that confidence they're putting into the children. So, another thing that struck us is the atmosphere at the school. I keep telling people it's something you have to come up here to experience it. And it's right down to the office staff and even Mr. Fields that walks around, does his little jobs in the yard, and that warm and sort of welcome feel when you come up here. It's really got, I can't put my finger on it, it's just that atmosphere here, and I'm always saying to her, you've got to come up. I can't explain it in words, you have to come up and actually feel it for yourself. It's you feel like a part of a large family here. It's not that, it's not the parents versus the teachers, or you feel like you're need to step out of it too much. Everybody's welcome. It's been little things on almost a daily basis. At our old school, Jackson used to come out of school every night. It'd be tears, or there'd be temper about things. In the morning he wouldn't go to school. He was trying to bribe me with his pocket money. Mum, if I give you all my pocket money, can I not go to that school anymore? He'd gotten so worked up with what was going on there. So every day was a battle to get a child to school, and we're talking about a kid in grade 3. You know, it shouldn't be a drama. And I think I've had one incident here where he's come out in a bad mood because something didn't go right. He couldn't draw a picture in art that he was happy with. And that's been it. And it's now what school should be. You drop your kids off in the morning and they're happy to go to school and they're confident and they're smiling, and then you pick them up at the end of the day and they're happy. They're pleased to see you at the end of the day, and there's no fights and no dramas and no tears, and it's what school should be about.